Alcatraz, the notorious island prison, was thought to be impenetrable. Yet in 1961, a brave group of inmates defied this belief. Since its establishment in 1934 amidst the frigid waters of San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz housed the most feared criminals in the pages of American history. Its remote location and perilous waters made any thought of escape seem ludicrous. However, 4 daring inmates, celebrated for their criminal acumen and indomitable spirit, decided to defy this impregnable fortress. The brilliant mind behind the plot was Frank Lee Morris, a lifelong criminal with a commendable IQ of 133. He was joined by the Anglin siblings John and Clarence, farmers turned bank robbers, prided themselves on never using a real firearm. The final cog in this 4-man machinery was Alan West, a car thief with a record of unsuccessful escape attempts. Together they formed an unlikely band of heroes or villains. It's all a matter of perspective. Harnessing their and resolve, these prisoners set into motion a daring plan that would test the indomitable nature of Alcatraz. Before we proceed, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for our channel, The Best Ever. We'd love to hear from you in the comments if you enjoyed this video. The mastermind of this escape was none other than Frank Lee Morris, a career criminal with an IQ of 133. His intellectual prowess was a stark contrast to his turbulent life, which started on a criminal path at the tender age of 13. Frank was a chameleon in the criminal world, a master of escape, his cunning intelligence making him a nightmare for prison guards. His escapades had once led him to break free from a Louisiana prison, where he was serving a 10-year sentence for armed bank robbery. His capture in 1960 landed him directly in Alcatraz, a place meant to ensure that he wouldn't slip through the cracks again. Accompanying Frank were the Anglin brothers, John and Clarence. These Georgian siblings had a humble start as farmers, before they turned their talents to robbing banks. Despite their criminal pursuits, they maintained a certain moral code, claiming to have used only a toy gun during their heists, averse to causing physical harm. Their non-violent nature didn't spare them from a 20-year sentence. After multiple failed attempts to escape the Atlanta prison, they too were dispatched to Alcatraz. Rounding out this quartet was Alan West, a car thief from Florida. His education was limited, having only completed up until the 8th grade. This lack of academic achievement, however, did not deter him from attempting an escape from a Florida prison, an act that saw him transferred to Alcatraz. West was 28 when he arrived at the island prison, where his path would cross with Frank and the Anglin brothers. Their cells were adjacent, their backgrounds diverse, but their goal was singular: freedom. Together, they would spend 6 months meticulously enlarging the ventilation ducts in their cells, using an assortment of stolen items from the prison workshop and mess hall. They masked their activities with music and their holes with cardboard, painted to match the cell walls. Together, these 4 inmates had the audacity to believe they could do the impossible: escape from Alcatraz. Over 6 months, these prisoners meticulously dug their way out of their cells, using stolen tools and sheer determination. Picture this: 4 men, each having a shared goal, but stuck within the harsh confines of a maximum security prison. Their only way out was through the ventilation ducts of their cells, and to make this possible, they employed an array of tools, many of which were stolen from the prison workshop. The tools of their trade were as basic as they come: saw blades, spoons, and an electric drill fashioned from a vacuum cleaner motor. It was a testament to their resourcefulness and an unyielding spirit to escape. They labored, chipping away at the walls, slowly but surely enlarging the ducts. As they worked, they had to conceal their activities from the ever-watchful eyes of the prison guards. Their solution was simple, yet effective: pieces of cardboard painted to match the walls, carefully placed to cover the holes they were creating. And to drown out the noise of their excavation, they orchestrated a symphony of distraction. During the daily music period, they would play their instruments, using the harmonies and melodies to mask the sound of their clandestine operations. Once the holes were large enough, they crawled through, reaching the unguarded cell block. Here, they hit the archives room, pilfering a 4-meter rubber boat, life jackets and raincoats. These stolen items were then hidden inside heating pipes, waiting for the day of their grand escape. But they didn't stop there. They even went as far as creating makeshift oars from wood scraps, anticipating the need to row across the notoriously treacherous and icy currents of the San Francisco Bay. Their plan was audacious, a daring plot crafted by desperate men. It was a testament to their ingenuity and sheer determination. Would they pull it off? Would they manage to escape the inescapable Alcatraz? Fast forward to 2013 when the San Francisco Police Department received a letter that shocked them. The envelope contained an aged piece of paper, the handwriting shaky and uncertain. It claimed to be from John Anglin, one of the escapees from the infamous Alcatraz prison. The letter read, "My name is John Anglin. I escaped from Alcatraz in June of 1962 with my brother Clarence and Frank Morris. I'm 83 years old and in bad shape. I have cancer. Yes, we all made it that night, but barely." The implications of this letter were staggering. For half a century, the fate of the Alcatraz escapees had remained a mystery. The official report from the FBI stated that the men had drowned in the frigid waters of the San Francisco Bay. But this letter suggested a different narrative. If the letter was genuine, it meant that at least one of the men had survived their daring escape. It suggested that the three men had managed to outwit the authorities, disappearing into the shadows of society. The man who wrote this letter lived in secret, watching the world change around him, carrying the weight of one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. The letter sparked a renewed interest in the Alcatraz escape. Investigators pored over the words, analyzing the handwriting, the language, the postmark. They sought to verify the letter's claims to find some hint of the truth behind the escape. Could it be possible? Could John Anglin, his brother Clarence, and Frank Morris have survived their daring escape from Alcatraz? The letter offered tantalizing clues, but no definitive answers. The mystery of the Alcatraz escape continues to captivate us, a puzzle piece in the complex tapestry of criminal history. Each revelation, each potential lead, brings us one step closer to understanding what happened on that cold June night in 1962. This letter, if authentic, could rewrite the story of the Alcatraz escape, adding another layer of intrigue to this fascinating chapter of criminal history.